There is a story told about a man who searched his entire life for treasure. He read books, consulted maps, traveled to distant lands. He dug in valleys and climbed mountains. He spent his fortune and his years chasing something he believed was always just beyond the next horizon. And then one day, exhausted and defeated, he returned to his home. He sat in his garden, beneath the tree where he had played as a child. And in that moment, with nothing left to lose, he noticed something he had never seen before. The earth beneath the tree was slightly disturbed. Almost without thinking, he began to dig. And there, just beneath the surface, he found the treasure he had spent his whole life seeking. It had been there all along, waiting for him to stop running long enough to see it. This is the nature of what we now call the law of attraction. It is not something you chase. It is not something you find in a distant place or a future moment. It is something you uncover, something that has been waiting for you to stop digging everywhere else and look where you have always stood. But most people never notice this, and so they spend their lives searching, reaching, striving, while the treasure lies buried beneath their own feet. Let us sit with this mystery tonight and see what we might uncover together. There is a hidden problem that most people never see. It is the reason they work so hard and receive so little. It is the reason they desire success with all their heart. Yet success seems to slip through their fingers like water. And because they cannot see it, they spend their lives running in circles, wondering why the laws of the universe seem to work for everyone but them. The problem is this: they are broadcasting one signal while believing they are broadcasting another. Imagine for a moment that you are a radio station. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold about yourself and your life is a frequency being sent out into the world. You are always transmitting. You cannot stop transmitting. Even now, in this quiet moment, while you sit in the darkness listening to these words, your mind is sending out its signal. It is broadcasting continuously, whether you are aware of it or not. Now, most people believe they are transmitting a signal of desire. They want success, so they think about success. They want money, so they think about money. They want love, so they think about love. They want freedom, so they think about freedom. This seems logical. This seems like the way attraction should work. You think about what you want, and the universe delivers it. Simple. But here is the hidden problem, and it is so close to us that we rarely see it. Beneath the surface thoughts of desire, there is a deeper current. There is a background frequency that is much stronger than the conscious thoughts. It plays constantly, like the hum of an engine you have stopped noticing because it has been running so long. And that background frequency is usually broadcasting something very different from what you think you are sending. Let us sit with this for a moment, because it is the key to everything. The person who wants money, who visualizes money, who affirms money, but deep down believes they do not deserve it, that person is broadcasting lack. The signal of lack is stronger than the signal of desire, because the belief is deeper. It has been playing in the background for years, perhaps decades, perhaps a lifetime. It was installed in childhood, reinforced by experience, confirmed by every failure. It is not a passing thought. It is a conviction. The person who wants love, who longs for connection, who dreams of partnership, but carries an unhealed wound from past rejection, that person is broadcasting fear. The signal of fear drowns out the signal of longing, because fear is loud. Fear is urgent. Fear has been rehearsed 1,000 times in the middle of the night. It has become the default setting. The person who wants freedom, who dreams of breaking free from the constraints of their life, but secretly believes they are trapped, that person is broadcasting imprisonment. The walls they see around them are not in the world. They are in the mind. And the mind, broadcasting imprisonment, attracts more walls. And so the universe, which responds not to your words but to your frequency, brings you more of what you are actually broadcasting. More lack, more fear, more proof that your deepest beliefs are true. Not because the universe is cruel, but because it is perfectly responsive. It is like a mirror. It does not argue. It does not judge. It simply reflects back whatever is placed before it. This is the tragedy of the law of attraction as it is commonly misunderstood. People think they can simply visualize what they want, repeat affirmations, Make vision boards, light candles, speak words into the universe, and the universe will deliver. But the universe is not fooled by your surface thoughts. It is not impressed by your vision board. It responds to the deepest, most consistent signal you emit. It responds to the frequency of your being, not the noise of your wishing. Think of it this way. There's a difference between saying, "I am confident," and actually feeling confidence. The words are easy. The feeling is not. And the universe, which operates on vibration, on energy, on frequency, does not hear the words. It feels the feeling. It registers the vibration. It responds to what you are, not what you say you are. Most people never notice this. They wonder why their efforts fail. They blame the universe, or fate, or bad luck, or the economy, or other people. They do not realize that they themselves are the source of the problem. They are transmitting lack while asking for abundance. They are sending out fear while hoping for love. They are a radio station playing one song while begging the world to hear another. And the world, being perfectly responsive, gives them exactly what they ask for. Listen carefully to this part, because it is where everything begins to shift. The law of attraction is not a system for getting what you want. It is a law of alignment. It ensures that what you experience on the outside matches what you are on the inside. Not what you pretend to be, not what you wish you were, but what you actually are at the deepest level of your being. This is why two people can use the same techniques and get completely different results. One is broadcasting desire from a place of lack. The other is broadcasting readiness from a place of inner alignment. The techniques are the same. The frequency is not. So the work is not to learn better techniques. The work is to change the frequency. The work is to go beneath the surface thoughts and address the deep beliefs, the old wounds, the silent convictions that have been running the show for years. The work is to become someone different, not just to want different things. This is where we must begin, not with lists of things to do, not with formulas and systems, but with an honest look at the signal you are actually broadcasting. Because until you know what frequency you are on, you cannot change it. You cannot tune the radio until you know which station is playing. And here's the hope that makes this all worthwhile. The frequency can be changed. The signal can be adjusted. The deep beliefs, no matter how old, no matter how entrenched, can be transformed. It is not easy. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes the kind of honest self-examination that most people avoid. But it is possible. You are not stuck with the signal you have been broadcasting. You are not doomed to attract more of what you do not want. The power to shift frequencies lies within you. It has always been there. You have just been looking in the wrong direction, outward, at the world, instead of inward, at the source. So tonight, let us begin there. Let us become quiet enough to hear our own frequency. Let us listen, not to the surface thoughts, but to the deeper current. Let us ask ourselves, with complete honesty, what am I really broadcasting? What do I truly believe about myself? What signal have I been sending all along, without knowing it? The answers may surprise you. They may unsettle you, but they are the beginning of everything. Because once you know what frequency you are on, you can finally begin to change it. And once you change it, the world has no choice but to respond in kind. Now we must look at the mental trap that keeps most people stuck in this cycle. It is a trap so common, so universal, that nearly everyone falls into it at some point. And once you see it, you will recognize it everywhere. You will see it in your own mind, in the minds of those around you, in the very structure of how most people approach the idea of success. The trap is this. People believe that their thoughts about success are separate from their feelings about themselves. They think they can think one way about money while feeling another way about their own worth. They think they can desire abundance while secretly believing they are not enough. They think the mind can be divided, that one part can want while another part doubts, and the two will never meet. They imagine that their conscious desires live in one room of the house, and their deep beliefs live in another, and the two rooms never communicate. But the mind does not work this way. The mind is not a collection of separate rooms. It is one house, and every part of it is connected by hidden corridors, by shared walls, by a foundation that holds everything together. The thought you think in the morning and the feeling you carry at night are not strangers to each other. They are family. They breathe the same air. They shape each other constantly, whether you are aware of it or not. Let us sit with this idea for a while, because it is one of the most important distinctions a person can make. Imagine a man who wants to be wealthy. He reads books about success. He listens to programs about abundance. He sets goals, makes plans, takes action. On the surface, he is doing everything right. His conscious mind is focused on wealth. His conscious thoughts are aligned with his conscious desires. But deep down, beneath the surface, something else is happening. In the quiet moments, when he is alone with himself, a different voice speaks. It says, "You don't really deserve this. People like you don't become wealthy. Money is for others, not for you. You tried before and failed. Why would this time be any different?" This voice is not loud. It does not announce itself. It is subtle, like background noise you have stopped noticing. But it is always there, playing its quiet melody. And because it plays continuously, it becomes the dominant frequency. It becomes the signal that the universe hears, not the conscious thoughts that come and go like passing clouds. This is the trap. The conscious mind wants one thing. The subconscious believes another. And the subconscious always wins, because it is deeper. It is older. It has been reinforced by years, perhaps decades, of experience and repetition. Napoleon Hill understood this deeply. He wrote extensively about the concept of autosuggestion, the principle by which thoughts are planted in the subconscious mind through repetition and emotion. And he emphasized something that is often overlooked in modern discussions of the law of attraction. The thoughts must be charged with feeling. They must be believed. They must be accepted by the deeper mind as true. You can repeat an affirmation 1,000 times. You can write your goals every morning and visualize your success every night. You can create vision boards and say positive statements into the mirror. But if, beneath the repetition, you do not believe the words, the affirmation is empty. It is like shouting into the wind. The sound is there, but it carries no power. It does not penetrate. It does not take root. The subconscious mind is not impressed by repetition alone. It is moved by belief. It is shaped by conviction. It responds to the thoughts that carry emotional weight, the ideas that feel true, the beliefs that have been reinforced by experience. If you have spent 30 years believing you are not enough, 30 years of repeating that belief in 1,000 small ways, then 30 days of positive affirmations will not undo that programming. The old belief is too deep. It has too much history. It has too much emotional charge. This is the trap that keeps people average. They try to attract success from a place of lack. They want what they do not have, and the wanting itself is a confirmation of not having. The energy of wanting is the energy of absence. It says, "I do not have this, and I need it." It says, "I am empty, and something outside me must fill me." It says, "I am incomplete, and success will complete me." And the universe, hearing that frequency, responds with more not having, more absence, more emptiness, more proof that you are incomplete. Because the universe is a mirror. It does not judge the signal. It simply reflects it back. Listen carefully to this part, because it is where everything changes. The secret is not to want success. The secret is to become the person for whom success is natural. The secret is not to reach for abundance from a place of emptiness. The secret is to cultivate the feeling of abundance within yourself, right now, with nothing changed in your external circumstances. This is what Hill meant when he spoke of a burning desire. Not a desperate wanting, not a frantic reaching, not a grasping, clutching, needy energy that repels what it seeks, but a deep, quiet knowing, a conviction so strong that it shapes your entire being, a fire that does not consume you, but transforms you, a heat that does not come from lack, but from the intensity of your vision. The person with a burning desire does not chase success. They embody it. They carry themselves like the person they are becoming. They think the thoughts of that person. They feel the feelings of that person. They make decisions from that place, not from the place of lack and longing. They do not ask, "How can I get what I want?" They ask, How would the person who already has what I want think, feel, and act? And then they think, feel, and act that way. This is not pretending. This is not faking it until you make it. This is the deliberate cultivation of a new identity. This is the conscious choice to align your inner world with your outer intentions. This is the work of bringing the subconscious beliefs into harmony with the conscious desires. And it is work. It is not easy. It requires honesty, patience, and a willingness to face the parts of yourself you have been avoiding. It requires sitting with the old beliefs, the ones that have been running the show, and asking where they came from. It requires feeling the feelings you have been suppressing, the fear and the shame and the unworthiness, and letting them move through you instead of letting them define you. But this work is possible. It is the most important work you will ever do. Because once the inner world is aligned, the outer world must follow. Not through magic, but through law. Not through wishing, but through becoming. The person who has done this work does not attract success. They are success, and the world, responding to their frequency, brings them the outer reflections of their inner state. Opportunities appear, resources materialize, people show up, not because the universe is rewarding them, but because they have become a match for what they seek. This is the way out of the trap. This is the path from wanting to being. And it begins with a single honest question. What do I truly believe about myself? Not what do I want to believe. Not what do I tell myself I believe. But what do I actually, deeply, beneath all the surface noise, believe is true? The answer to that question is your current frequency. It is the signal you are broadcasting. And until you change it, nothing else you do will matter. But once you change it, nothing else you do will fail to matter. Because you will finally be broadcasting on the frequency of your true desire, not your hidden fear. This brings us to the principle that Napoleon Hill considered the foundation of all achievement. He wrote about it in every chapter, returned to it in every example, emphasized it in every interview. He called it the definite chief aim, and it is not what most people think it is. Let us sit with this phrase for a moment. Definite, chief, aim. Each word carries weight. Definite means clear, specific, unmistakable, not vague, not fuzzy, not I want to be successful or I want more money. Those are wishes, not aims. They are clouds floating in the sky, shapeless and shifting. A definite aim is a mountain. You can see its outline. You know what it is. You know what it looks like to stand on its summit. Chief means primary, first, above all others. Not one of many. Not something you want along with 100 other things. Chief means this is the one. This is the desire that burns hottest. This is the vision that organizes everything else around it. When you have a chief aim, all other desires become secondary. They either serve this aim or they fall away. Aim means direction. It means intention. It means you are pointed somewhere. Not drifting, not hoping, not waiting to see where life takes you. You have chosen your destination, and every part of you is oriented toward it. Now, here is where most people misunderstand. They think a definite chief aim is a goal. They think it is something you set and then pursue. They think it is a target on a wall, and you are the archer shooting arrows at it. But this is not what Hill meant. He meant something far more intimate. He meant something that changes you at the level of your being. A definite chief aim is a statement of identity. It is a declaration of who you are becoming, written so clearly, felt so deeply, that it begins to organize your entire inner world around itself. It is not something you have. It is something you are. Think of it this way. A lighthouse does not chase ships. It does not run after vessels in the night, begging them to come toward it. It simply stands where it stands, and it shines its light. It is steady. It is consistent. It is always itself. And the ships, navigating the darkness, see that light and steer toward it. The person with a definite chief aim is like that lighthouse. They do not chase success. They do not run after opportunities. They do not grasp and grab and struggle. They simply become who they are becoming, steadily, consistently, with unwavering focus. And success, like ships in the night, navigates toward them. This is the principle that changes everything. When you have a definite chief aim, You stop trying to attract success and start becoming attractive to success. The difference is not subtle. It is everything. Now, Hill gave very specific instructions for how to work with this principle. He taught that you must write down your definite chief aim, not in vague terms, but with absolute clarity. You must write exactly what you intend to become, exactly what you intend to achieve, exactly what you intend to contribute. You must write it as a statement, not a wish. You must write it in the present tense, as if it is already true. And then, he said, you must read this statement aloud, twice daily. Once before sleeping, as the last thing your mind takes in. Once upon waking, as the first thing your consciousness meets. You must read it with emotion, with feeling, with a deep conviction that it is already so. You must infuse the words with the energy of belief. Now, most people hear this and think it is a mechanical process. They think they can simply write some words, repeat them like a robot, and wait for magic to happen. They treat it like a formula, a system, a technique for getting what they want without changing who they are. But they miss the essential element. The words must be believed. The feeling must be genuine. You cannot fool your subconscious mind. It knows the difference between a wish and a conviction. It knows the difference between repetition and belief. It has been listening to you for your entire life. It knows your true voice from your pretending voice. It is not impressed by performance. This is why the work is inner work. This is why the transformation must happen at the level of identity, not just behavior. The definite chief aim is not a magic spell. It is a tool for reprogramming the deeper mind. It is a way of slowly, patiently, persistently replacing old beliefs with new ones. It is a method for planting new seeds in the garden of your subconscious, so that over time, new fruit can grow. When you truly adopt a definite chief aim, something shifts inside you. It does not happen overnight. It happens gradually, imperceptibly, like the changing of seasons. But one day you notice that you are different. You notice that you have stopped being the person who wants success and started being the person who has success. The wanting has fallen away. The striving has relaxed. The frantic energy of lack has been replaced by a quiet confidence, a patient knowing, a steady presence. And from this place, your actions change. Not because you are trying harder, but because you are being different. You make different choices because you see the world differently. You notice different opportunities because you are looking through different eyes. You speak differently, carry yourself differently, respond to obstacles differently. Everything changes because the center has changed. This is the law of attraction operating as it was always meant to, not as a technique for getting things, but as a natural law of being. You attract not what you want, but what you are. You draw to yourself not the objects of your desire, but the reflections of your identity. So the question is not, what do I want to attract? The question is not even, what do I want to achieve? The question is, who am I becoming? Because that person, whoever they are, will attract a life that matches them. Not through effort, but through alignment. Not through striving, but through being. Not through reaching outward, but through growing inward. This is why two people can want the same thing and get different results. One is a person who wants. The other is a person who is becoming. The wanting is a frequency of lack. The becoming is a frequency of alignment. The universe responds not to the wanting, but to the being. Listen carefully to this part. The definite chief aim is not about getting. It is about becoming. It is not about reaching for something outside yourself. It is about cultivating something inside yourself. It is not about attracting what you do not have. It is about becoming a match for what is already seeking you. And here's the mystery that Hill understood. What you seek is also seeking you. The success you desire is also desiring you. The abundance you long for is also longing for you. But it cannot find you until you become a match for it. It cannot reach you until your frequency aligns with its frequency. It cannot come into your life until you have made space for it by becoming the person who can hold it without losing themselves. This is the work of the definite chief aim. It is the work of becoming. It is slow, patient, persistent. It requires honesty, courage, and a willingness to let go of the old self to make room for the new. but it is the most important work you will ever do. Because once you become the person you are meant to be, everything else finds its way to you. Not through effort, but through law. Not through striving, but through alignment. Not through chasing, but through being. Now let us look at how the great achievers think differently. Because once you understand the principle of the definite chief aim, once you grasp that attraction is a matter of being rather than wanting, you begin to notice something remarkable. The people who accomplish extraordinary things do not think like ordinary people. They operate from a different set of assumptions, a different relationship with reality, a different understanding of how time and mind interact. Napoleon Hill studied hundreds of such individuals. He sat with Andrew Carnegie for 3 days and nights, extracting the philosophy that would become his life's work. He interviewed Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Theodore Roosevelt, and countless others who had shaped their era. And what he found, beneath all their surface differences, was a common pattern of thought. They all shared one quality that set them apart from the crowd. They had learned to think from the end. They lived in their imagination, in the reality they were creating, before it manifested in the physical world. Let us sit with this idea for a moment, because it is subtle and powerful. Thinking from the end is not the same as thinking about the end. Most people think about the end. They imagine success as something in the distance, something they are moving toward. They see themselves in the present, looking forward to a future moment when their desires will be realized. This is natural. This is common, but it is not the thinking of the great achiever. The great achiever does something different. They imagine the end first. They see themselves already standing in that future moment, already having achieved their aim, already living the life they desire. They do not look forward from the present. They look backward from the future. They ask themselves, from the perspective of having already succeeded, how did I get here? What did I do? Who did I become? What choices did I make? This is a fundamental shift in orientation. It is the difference between chasing a train and riding in it. It is the difference between reaching for something and already holding it. Think of it this way. Imagine you are an architect designing a building. You do not start by laying bricks. You start with a vision. You see the completed structure in your mind. You see its shape, its proportions, its relationship to the light. You walk through it in your imagination, feeling what it will be like to be inside it. Only after you have seen the end do you begin to draw the plans. Only after you have drawn the plans do you begin to lay the foundation. The building is built from the end backward. The vision of completion precedes every brick. This is how the great achievers construct their lives. They begin with the end. They see the completed structure of their success so clearly, so vividly, that it becomes real to them. Not real in the physical sense, but real in the mind. And because it is real in the mind, it begins to organize their actions, their decisions, their very way of being in the world. Most people, by contrast, build from the beginning forward. They look at their current circumstances, their current resources, their current limitations, and they ask, what can I build from here? Their vision is constrained by their present. Their imagination is a prisoner of their past. They dream within the boundaries of what seems reasonable, what seems possible, what seems achievable given where they stand. The great achiever does not ask what is possible given their present. They ask what is necessary to realize their vision. They do not let current circumstances define future possibilities. They let future possibilities shape current circumstances. This is the secret of their calm success to arrive. They are already living in it. They are simply allowing the outer world to catch up to what is already true inside them. Let us go deeper into this, because it is easy to hear these words and mistake them for positive thinking or wishful fantasy. This is not about pretending. This is not about denying reality. This is about recognizing a deeper reality, a reality that exists in the mind before it exists in the world. Everything that exists in the physical world began as a thought. Every building, every book, every company, every work of art, every relationship, every achievement, all of it first existed in someone's imagination. The thought is the seed. The physical manifestation is the flower. The seed is not less real than the flower. It is simply earlier in the process. The great achievers understand this. They know that the mental image is the first cause. They know that if they can hold the image clearly enough, feel it deeply enough, believe it completely enough, it will begin to externalize itself. Not through magic, but through the natural law that governs the relationship between mind and matter. Not through wishing, but through the organizing power of a dominant intention. When you hold a clear image of your success in your mind, something happens. Your subconscious mind begins to accept that image as reality. And once your subconscious accepts it as reality, it begins to work tirelessly to make it so. It begins to notice opportunities that align with the image. It begins to guide your actions toward the fulfillment of the image. It begins to shape your perceptions, your decisions, your very instincts, all in service of making the image real. This is why the practice of thinking from the end is so powerful. It is not about fooling yourself. It is about programming your deeper mind. It is about giving your subconscious a clear target to aim at. It is about aligning your entire being with your intention, so that every part of you moves in the same direction. Listen closely now. The person who thinks from the end does not ask, "How can I get what I want?" They ask, "How would the person who already has what I want think?" And then they think those thoughts. They ask, "How would that person feel?" And then they cultivate those feelings. They ask, "How would that person act?" And then they take those actions. They do not wait for the external circumstances to change. They change first. They become the person they intend to be, right now, in this moment, with nothing changed in their outer world. They live in the future so fully that the future becomes present. And here's the mystery that unfolds. When you become that person in your mind, when you think their thoughts and feel their feelings and act their actions, the outer world has no choice but to reorganize itself around you. Not because you have manipulated it, but because you have aligned with it. You have become a match for what you seek. You have tuned your frequency to the station you want to hear, and the music begins to play. This is how the great achievers think differently. They do not wait for success to change them. They change first, and success follows. They do not hope for a better future. They live in that future now, and let the present catch up. They do not attract what they want. They become what they want, and what they want is drawn to them like iron to a magnet. This is the path. It is not easy. It requires discipline, imagination, and a willingness to let go of the old self. But it is available to anyone who chooses it. You do not need special talents or extraordinary gifts. You need only the courage to think differently. You need only the persistence to hold your vision when the outer world contradicts it. You need only the faith to become, right now, the person you are meant to be. And that faith, that becoming, that thinking from the end, it will change everything. Not because the world changes, but because you do. And when you change, the world, being a mirror, cannot help but change with you. And so we arrive at the quiet awakening, the moment when everything shifts, not with a bang, not with dramatic revelation, not with fireworks or fanfare. It comes softly, like the first light of dawn creeping over the horizon. It comes gently, like the realization that you have been holding your breath and can finally release it. It comes peacefully, like the understanding that you have been searching everywhere for something that has been with you all along. This awakening arrives when you finally understand, not just intellectually but in the deepest part of your being, that the law of attraction is not something you do. It is something you are. It is not a technique you apply to get what you want. It is a truth you embody about who you are. It is not a system for manipulating the universe. It is a recognition of your place within it. Let us sit with this awakening and explore what it means to live from it. For so long, you may have approached the law of attraction as a method. You learned about visualization, affirmation, gratitude practices. You made lists, set intentions, created vision boards. You did the things you were told would bring success into your life. And perhaps you saw some results. Perhaps things shifted in small ways. But something still felt incomplete. Something still felt like effort. Something still felt like reaching, striving, trying to make something happen. This is natural. This is where most people live. They treat the law of attraction as a tool for getting, And so their entire experience of it is colored by the energy of getting. And the energy of getting, as we have explored, is actually the energy of lacking. It is the energy of not having and wanting to have. It is the energy of emptiness seeking to be filled. But the awakening brings something different. It brings the realization that you are not empty. You have never been empty. The fullness you seek has always been within you, hidden beneath the layers of old beliefs, old wounds, old programming. It has been waiting for you to stop looking outside and start looking inside. It has been waiting for you to stop trying to attract and start recognizing what is already here. This is the quiet awakening. This is the moment when you stop chasing success and start radiating it. When you stop trying to attract and start being attractive. When you understand, at the deepest level, that you are not a beggar at the door of the universe. You are a co-creator. You are a participant in the great unfolding. You are not separate from the abundance you seek. You are an expression of it. Think of the sun. The sun does not try to shine. It does not wake up in the morning and affirm, "I am bright. I am warm. I am radiant." It does not visualize light or practice gratitude for its own brilliance. It simply shines because that is its nature. It cannot do otherwise. The shining is not something it does. It is something it is. This is what the awakening reveals. Success, in its deepest sense, is not something you achieve. It is something you express. It is the natural radiance of a being who has come into alignment with their true nature. It is the inevitable outward manifestation of an inward state of harmony. Napoleon Hill wrote about the importance of faith. Not faith in the religious sense, but faith as a state of mind. Faith as the knowing that what you hold in your imagination can and will be made real. Faith as the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Faith as the assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And here is the secret that Hill understood. Faith is not something you manufacture. It is not something you force yourself to feel. It is something you uncover. It is the natural state of the mind when it stops fighting itself. When the conscious thoughts and the subconscious beliefs are aligned. When the desires of the heart and the convictions of the deeper mind are in harmony, faith arises spontaneously. It is not forced. It is not pretended. It simply is. This is why the work of alignment is so important. This is why the definite chief aim, the thinking from the end, the cultivation of new beliefs, all of this matters. It is not about manipulating the universe. It is about clearing away the obstructions that have prevented your natural radiance from shining. It is about removing the clouds so the sun can be seen. It is about letting go of the old so the new can emerge. Listen carefully to this part, because it is the heart of everything. The person who has awakened does not need to constantly affirm their success. They do not need to visualize every day or repeat mantras or perform rituals. These practices may have helped them on the journey, but once the awakening has occurred, they become unnecessary. They are like training wheels on a bicycle. They serve their purpose and then they can be set aside. What remains is something simpler. What remains is a quiet knowing, a steady confidence, a peaceful certainty that does not depend on external circumstances. The awakened person knows who they are. They know what they are becoming. They know that the outer world is simply a reflection of the inner world, and that as long as the inner world remains clear, the outer world will align accordingly. This does not mean they never face challenges. It does not mean life becomes easy or problems disappear, but it means they face challenges from a different place. They meet difficulties with a different energy. They encounter obstacles without losing themselves. The storms still come, but they no longer uproot the tree. The winds still blow, but they no longer shake the foundation. This is the fruit of the awakening. This is the peace that passes understanding. This is the freedom that comes when you stop trying to control the world and start attending to the only thing you can truly control: your own mind, your own being, your own alignment with truth. And here is the beautiful paradox that concludes our journey together. When you stop trying to attract success, success begins to attract itself to you. When you stop grasping and reaching and striving, you become magnetic in a way you never were before. When you let go of the needing, you become someone who can be given to. When you become full within yourself, The outer world rushes to fill the space around you. Not because you have manipulated it, but because you have aligned with it. Not because you have demanded anything, but because you have become a match for what has always been seeking you. Not because you have finally figured out the secret, but because you have finally stopped hiding from yourself. This is the treasure buried beneath the tree. This is what you have been searching for all along. Not success out there, but alignment in here. Not the things you want, but the person you become in the wanting. Not the destination, but the journey of becoming someone who can hold the destination without losing themselves. So tonight, as you rest with these thoughts, consider this. What if you've been broadcasting the wrong signal all along? What if the reason success has seemed elusive is not that it is far away, but that you have not yet become a match for it? What if the work is not to chase, but to become? What if the trait to choose, and the law of attraction, far from being a mystery, is simply the universe responding to who you really are? So become who you really are, and let everything else follow. A shore has always been beneath your feet, waiting for you to stop running long enough to dig. You have within you the power to change your frequency, not through effort, but through attention, not through striving, but through stillness, not through wanting more, but through being more. The signal you broadcast is yours to choose. The person you become is yours to create. The alignment you seek is yours to cultivate. And in that cultivation, in that becoming, in that quiet alignment, you will discover something the world cannot give you and the world cannot take away. A peace that is not disturbed by circumstances. A confidence that does not depend on results. A radiance that shines whether anyone sees it or not. Rest now in this knowing. Breathe deeply and let yourself become the person you were always meant to be. Not for what you can get, but for who you can become. Not for what the world will give you, but for what you can bring to the world. Not for the success you will attract, but for the alignment you will embody. The treasure has always been there. The frequency has always been yours.